Welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I'm recapping episode 14 of season 6 of the Real Housewives of Potomac. I am exhausted from watching this show. Candice is draining my life force, but I'm here. While you're here and we're here together in this moment, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Okay, let's move on. So, y'all know I have my trusty notes just to make sure that I keep up with all the mess. We're still at the Eastern Shore. Wendy is trying so hard to salvage this trip, but Candice is having yet another mental breakdown. She is having a psychotic break. That's what I feel like all of these outbursts are. At this point, it's Candice having a full-on psychotic break, and it's hard to watch someone just run in the opposite direction of normalcy and maturity. So the ladies are still fighting. Her and Mia are still going back and forth. Mia is trying to explain to her, like, girl, you do not know my mama to keep talking about my mama. The other ladies are trying to reason with Candice that, like, you don't know Mia's story. You don't know her history. You can't keep saying this. In between them trying to reason with Candice, who cannot be reasoned with, okay, she's saying, I don't actually care what your history is with your mom. And that's something we need to keep in mind too, because she's just like, I don't care about your sob story. How do you know I don't have one of my own? And I could give grace there were it not for the fact that we watched Candice suffer so much PTSD last season from the way Monique treated her, and the theatrics, and the post-its, and the medication, and the lying to the therapist about the role she played in it. I can't give Candice but so much grace because Candice continues to be a monster of a person. So at this point, G and Mia want to leave, and I just want to say, neither of you are sober enough to drive. Y'all ain't going nowhere. I knew they weren't leaving just because it's like, y'all have been drinking for hours, okay? Ain't nobody driving nowhere. Girl, bye. So, I also want to say, Candice, you continue to just make yourself look like someone who is so out of touch. The thing about they break stuff in strip clubs, have you been to a strip club before? Why do you think that they break things? Like, she continues to navigate the conversation surrounding Mia's former sex work like someone just from like middle America who is super inexperienced with anything relating to that. Like, what strip clubs actually have really strict security. You can't break shit in strip clubs. Like, and to be clear, Candice, you're the one who started throwing stuff first. So to then try to be like, oh, well, she started breaking porcelain. I didn't even think that Mia intentionally broke what I thought that she was trying to make a point and like slam something down and it broke. You were still throwing stuff. Now, I'm nobody's lawyer, but I would love to know if Mia had actually like thrown something back at you and it had knocked your ass upside the head, would she have been held liable for that since you threw something first? This is once again kind of, you know, what the territory you got into last season. And I continue to just not understand it. I also want Candice to look up what a concubine is. Stop just using words because you feel like they sound right. That makes you look even more dumb than you are showing yourself to be. I also want to say, like, the ladies take Mia to the side to try to convince her to stay. Karen really tries to pour into her, like, don't let anyone shake you like this. You need to, you know, stay, whatever, whatever. And Mia starts talking about how she's afraid that this is going to trigger her mom to relapse. Okay, Mia, you're not completely guiltless in this. Is Candice taking things too far? Absolutely, that's what Candice does. However, you did go to her mom and start talking mess about her, about, you know, calling her stuff low budget. Was that right? No, but I can't say that Candice's reactions are congruent with how. We'll get to that. But what I keep thinking about, and I could be wrong, but are you not also afraid that just being on this show alone without the conflict with Candice could trigger your mom to relapse? You every time we see you interact with her, asking these questions, digging up the past, and you're not even doing this in the presence of a therapist, like someone who can like guide you through this conversation. You're having it on a platform, like on a reality TV show platform. So how are you not concerned that that is a bit exploitive of your mom anyway, and of her drug abuse and her time in jail? How are you not concerned that her being publicized in this manner, period, could cause her to relapse? You know, just aside from the situation with Candice, I just like want to be fair in the way we discuss this. So Ascala is kind of being annoying to me. I will admit that it is annoying that Mia keeps bringing up money and things like that. And, you know, Ascala even tried to give her some grace by saying, do you bring up like materialistic stuff and businesses and things like that because you grew up without those things? And Mia was like, no, it's because I'm proud of it. And it's like, she was trying to just throw you a bone there and you just, you know, missed it. So nobody in this, you know, nobody's hands are clean is my point. But Ascala seems to be siding with Candice a bit, and I just can't deal with that. Chris takes Candice outside. Like once the men folk become aware that there is a domestic situation happening, you know, Eddie continues to be a good man, you know, and Chris takes Candice outside. I just want to say, please stop putting me in a position where I have to celebrate the behavior of men. Moreover, where I have to celebrate the behavior of a white man. Because I know Chris got to be so exhausted every day of his life that he already got kids, but he also has to manage his wife like she's a toddler. That man must be, the fact that he had to sweep up salad that you threw, like, Chris must be so exhausted. Do we need a prayer circle for Chris? He keeps trying to reason with her like, you don't understand that if you're saying that she's projecting her insecurities onto you, you look just as insecure by feeding into them. And Candice just refuses to see that, refuses to see any kind of reason. And you're not going to just say whatever you want to me. And it's like, but Candice, that's what you do though. You say whatever you want to people and you just expect for them to take it. And when they don't, you fly off the handle and now you're crying. Why are you crying? Real life psychotic break. G is making me really uncomfortable. G is also ruining older men for me. I thought that I was open to dating an older man. He is beyond my cutoff age, but the licking out of the tongue, him like drunkenly trying to tell this story about how him and Mia met, like, I'm uncomfortable. I am turned off from this relationship. And Mia's inability or her reluctance to even say like, hey, you're making her uncomfortable, like, you know, chill out. That bothers me a lot because if you have a partner who gets belligerently drunk on occasion and you're okay with that, I think that you hold some responsibility to kind of rein that person in public spaces. Like, why are you laughing at this? Like, Karen is obviously uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable and I'm not even there. Like, and he like falling asleep and he don't know what PDA is. Child. Anyway, Robin and Gizelle arrive. And I guess Bravo called them and was like, y'all want these checks or not? Like, you're going on this trip. Robin, if your period affects you to this extent, I don't know what the PTO policy is over at Bravo. But you need to negotiate that when that happens, you don't have to be on camera or you don't have to be around nobody. We've all been there. I'm going to tell you, my period had me so emotional last week that I literally cried watching a Target commercial. I'm not joking. It'd be like that sometimes. However, we don't all need to be constantly made aware that you're on your period. We don't all need to be constantly made aware that you are unpleasant when you're on your period. Are you always on your period? Because you're quite unpleasant quite often. Anyway, Gizelle is out there with her boot because she hurt her foot because she was out there walking around her home. That's a construction site. Anyway, Candice and Ashley are very happy to see Gizelle and Robin there. Gizelle and Robin, you arrived late, very late. From what I gather, you didn't even fully RSVP, yet you're complaining about the room selection and access to a bathroom. Ashley said you could just use her bathroom. There was a very easy solution, but if you cared that much about having this top-notch 5-star experience, you should have got your ass there on time. And then it's so ironic that you make such a stink about, well, I need a bathroom, when you were going to have these women come to your construction site of a home and not give them access to one. Why can't you see yourself? Okay. So Candice is recapping for Gizelle and Robin what took place. What I'm really happy about is that Gizelle was holding Candice accountable in terms of talking about Mia's mom and telling her that that wasn't right. I was really happy to see, and I think Robin, joined in on that conversation as well. I was happy to see somebody finally like holding Candice accountable. I don't think that we see enough of that on this show. I think she really fell into the victim role and everyone just crowded around her and iced out Monique, with the exception of Karen and Ashley. Everyone was so focusing on playing up this victimhood that Candice was displaying that they never held her accountable. And we'll get to my further concerns about that. But I will say that I was happy to see them holding Candice accountable, but I wish they could hold themselves accountable for their behavior towards Wendy and towards Monique. It's you have to look inward at some point, and I just don't see any introspection at all from Robin and Gizelle, and that frustrates the shit out of me. And just, well, Wendy should do this and Wendy should do that. Y'all told her y'all didn't want to come on her trip. So why are you expecting for her to make accommodations for you when you ain't even supposed to be here? You don't even go here. So moving along, the ladies get ready to go to dinner. Why can't we just have nice things and enjoy ourselves? Messy ass Ashley decides that now's a good time to ask Chris how he felt about what transpired earlier in the day between Mia and Candice. From Chris's perspective, he would like for the men to be able to remain neutral while the women are doing whatever they're doing. And I really, really, really hate that they're playing so much into this stereotype about women just not being able to get along, women being too sensitive, women being too this and too that. I really wish that that weren't so true on this show. And Chris says, the way that G and I are okay, even though Candice and Mia are in a disagreement, I would like to have that same thing with Michael. And I thought that it was also really big of Chris early in the episode to, tell Ashley, I know you and Candice have your, your differences, but congratulations, whatever. Once again, you're making me celebrate this man. Anywho, and then the conversation goes left when Chris, I don't fully remember, even though they show flashbacks. I know Chris and Michael have beef 100%, but Chris is kind of trying to make it seem like he didn't initiate it, and I can't remember if he did or if he didn't. But Michael is a skeevy, elitist asshole, like for sure. What I find really puzzling, once Candice jumps into the conversation, Candice has this judgment towards Ashley for her white husband while she's sitting next to her white husband. Why is your white husband better than her white husband if that's the dig you're trying to take by calling him a slave driver? Like, what? So the whole argument starts up again, and Candice starts trying to blame what happened last year on Ashley, while Ashley is trying to tell Candice, do you not see that you're the common denominator here? You're arguing with me. You argued with Mia earlier today. What happened last year? You even brought up what happened last year today, but you can't seem to connect the dots that you're the common denominator here. Why is that? Why can't you see that you're the problem? And that's a very fair point. Again, I am not here for Ashley, but you got to call a spade, and she is right. Candice, once again, just flies off the handle, starts saying all kind of shit. And I got so uncomfortable watching Chris trying to calm her down and tell her, let's step outside. Candice was getting so physical with him, and had he applied any more pressure, it would have looked like a domestic situation. And, Gizelle is trying to, let Candice know, Ashley's not responsible for what happened last year. And in their confessionals, Robin and Gizelle are both saying, you know, that last year was just in vain. She didn't learn anything. Candice didn't learn anything from last year because nobody but Karen was willing to hold Candice accountable for her part in that altercation. Again, everybody was so excited and ready to jump down Monique's throat because y'all didn't like Monique from day one, that you completely neglected to hold Candice accountable for how she behaves and how she talks to people. And y'all kind of created this monster by not ever stepping in and saying, ooh, you know, you were a bit out of line. You know, you did do X, Y, and Z. And Karen got labeled the bad guy because she did say, you know, you're not innocent here. I don't understand how Candice continues to see herself as innocent. I also really do not appreciate the way she keeps talking to G about his wife. That's so inappropriate because once again, it's you who's putting your husband in the middle of the beef because G can't sit there and go back and forth with you. His next best step is to go at your husband. Is this not kind of the same thing happening between, you know, Ashley and Michael and Candice and Chris? It's Candice's inability to just keep shit between, you know, the interested parties. When you start talking to somebody's husband crazy, like, madam, absolutely not. That's just so inappropriate. And Wendy even said that early in the episode when she started, you know, doing the whole get your hoe and all this stuff like that. You don't talk to someone's husband like that about them. It's just so inappropriate. Why are you so inappropriate? But you in your mind, you think that you're this, like, you don't realize how basic you are. This is the behavior of a basic person. And she just can't see it. Think that's all my notes. I just, you know, Chris goes outside. Ascala's husband tries to calm him down. I understand where Chris is coming from. I would be over this shit too. Like, why can't anyone let anything go? Why can't we just have nice things and have a nice time? This episode was exhausting and infuriating. And I'm hoping that at some point soon we see someone besides Ashley holding Candice. They need to have an intervention for Candice and her attitude. Like, you really do need to get back into therapy and work through why you have such a visceral reaction to any and everything. It's getting exhausting. I don't want to keep talking about it. So I'm hoping by next episode we move on to something else. So that is my recap of this episode. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, become a patron so you can send me some coins, you know, so I don't have to go and become an entertainer. So that was shady. I take it back. Anyway, see you guys next time. Bye.